Greetings, this is Alaje from the star system of the Pleiades. There is a spiritual transformation occurring on Earth because higher energies of the existence are channeled to the planet to lift the planet into a higher level of evolution. Individuals who are touched by these higher energies of love want to assist the planet in this process. Since 12 years I traveled with many of those loving people to power spots on Earth to channel higher vibrations of love and clean the Earth from negative energies. In November 2011, I traveled with 10 loving people to the island of Bimini in the Bermuda Triangle. Bimini was a part of Atlantis, and close to it was the most powerful energy center of Atlantis. It was the vortex of Atlantis. Before I show you our journey there, let me tell you the history of Atlantis and the civilizations before Atlantis, because the Earth civilization of today has a similar behavior. In the past 10 million years on Earth, 8 technically advanced civilizations have destroyed themselves at the end because they abused technology and power and did not live spiritually. There were civilizations of humanoid and non-humanoid astronauts who came from other parts of the universe. Their weapons were 1,000 times more destructive than what the Earth people have today because they abused cosmic energy. This is not fiction, this is the sad, true history of Earth. Their wars produced a strong radioactivity which have mutated creatures. That is how the dinosaurs came, who were later killed by other astronauts to rebuild a new civilization. This civilization abused weapons too and destroyed the planet who used to be between Mars and Jupiter. Today's asteroid belt there is what is left from that destroyed planet. Approximately 1 million years ago, other space travelers came and colonized the Earth. They built the civilizations of Lemuria and Atlantis. The Earth back then looked different than today. Lemuria was a continent in the Pacific Ocean. Atlantis was a continent in the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis was more advanced than today's Earth humans, and they were using giant crystals with strong cosmic energy. Their lifespans could reach up to 1,000 years. They were able to communicate with higher dimensions and had the ability of time travel. The continent of Atlantis had many islands around it, and they had many Atlantean colonies in other parts of the Earth. Many different extraterrestrial races lived there hundreds of thousands of years, spiritually and in harmony with the existence. Their knowledge of the cosmos was thus growing, and they learned to use cosmic energy and technology. About 700,000 years ago began the downfall of their society because many developed ego and arrogance, believing that they are gods. Most lost their spirituality and abused cosmic energy to manipulate the thoughts of others or to make genetic manipulations with humans and animals. This resulted in the stories about the ancient mermaids, minotaurs, cyclops or sea monsters. They were obsessed by power and technology, and they started wars against the Lemurians because they saw the planet as their own property. They abused their power weapons and crystals very strongly, and about 12,000 years ago they destroyed the entire continent of Atlantis in wars. The energy pulverized almost everything, so today there is not much left of Atlantis. Some spiritual Atlanteans were able to flee before the disaster with their spaceships. This disaster caused a pole shift and a great flood, as you call it today. Years later, Atlanteans and other extraterrestrials came back in other parts of the Earth where they passed their knowledge to others. This is the reason why after the disaster, other cultures such as Egypt or Greece had suddenly knowledge of mathematics, astronomy, medicine or architecture. They used the technology of levitation to build pyramids on many places of this planet. This abuse of power, energy and the weapons happened at the end of the Atlantean civilization is happening today again on a smaller scale. Even today there are people in power who want to control everything with weapons, wars, religions, drugs, genetic and mental manipulation and greedy exploitation of Earth's resources. The rulers on Earth spend trillions of dollars on weapons and drugs rather than helping the entire planet to become a place of harmony where nobody has to starve. This all happens because most Earth humans have still not learned to live in harmony with light and love. Most Earth people laugh at light and love and worship ego, arrogance, greed and hatred. Such a course leads to self-destruction. This has happened many times in other civilizations. Only when Earth humans learn to live with spiritual light and universal love, you can live a happy, light-filled life without suffering, as it is the case on other planets. For this reason, I am practicing my entire life light work, so the main energy on Earth in the future is love and not hate, destruction and suffering. I travel with other loving people to vortex energy sites so that our light and our love becomes more powerful and thus has a greater healing effect on Earth. In November 2011, we traveled to the island of Bimini in the Bahamas. Bimini was at the west part of Atlantis, close to the vortex of Atlantis. This vortex is 35 miles or 56 kilometers east of Bimini. There used to be a crystal temple and pyramids, in which cosmic energy was used to travel in time or to communicate with higher dimensions. When Atlantis was destroyed through the abuse of this power, this temple was destroyed and the energy generated anomalies and dimensional gates in the area what is now called the Bermuda Triangle. The existence sent me and 10 other loving people to this part of the earth to heal these old energies and to use them for the light. On Bimini there were healing temples in the time when Atlantis was still spiritual. First we visited the places of the healing temples to strengthen our own energy before we would go to the vortex.